Welcome back everybody. AWS provides a wide range of cloud services, and for the exam as well as to become proficient in AWS, I think it is essential that you learn what these services are. First, we will take a look at the AWS global infrastructure because everything lives within AWS global infrastructure, and then we will learn about AWS networking. On top of networking, you have services like compute, storage, database, application services, and analytics. After that, we will take a brief look at deployment and management, as well as security and administration. And later in this course, we will explore the areas relevant to the exam in much more detail. I will try my level best to use this visual as much as possible throughout the course, so that you can become familiar with it, and it will help you have a high-level picture of different building blocks of AWS. Well, let's take a look at AWS's global infrastructure. Amazon Web Services serves hundreds of thousands of customers in more than 190 countries, and to help these customers achieve lower latency and higher throughput, AWS Global Infrastructure is available in multiple locations around the globe. And these locations are composed of regions and availability zones and edge locations. On this map, you can see that AWS has 11 regions at the moment and 29 availability zones, as well as 53 edge locations. Edge locations are basically content delivery networks. So what is a region? A region is a named set of AWS resources in a geographic area. Each region is designed to be independent of the other regions. This isolation allows us to design highly available applications that span the globe and ensure low latency response times to the users. By placing resources in separate regions, you can design your website or app to be closer to the specific customers. By the way, please note that prices for AWS usage may vary by region depending on the service, and not every region supports every AWS service as well. One key point to note here for the exam purposes is that regions are isolated from each other and that resources are not replicated across regions automatically. Each region is composed of one or more availability zones. Availability zone basically means a data center, so you could have one or more data centers for that availability zone, and availability zones are connected through redundant low latency links. Availability zones are physically separated within a typical metropolitan region and are located in lower risk floodplains. In addition to utilizing discrete uninterruptible power supply and on-site backup generators, they are each fed via different grids from independent utilities to further reduce single points of failures. And also, availability zones are all redundantly connected to multiple Tier 1 ISPs. Edge locations are CDN endpoints. Currently, there are 53 edge locations around the world. They are used by CloudFront to cache data near the users who access them, which in turn reduces latency and increases the speed of the application or the website. We will explore edge locations further when we talk about CloudFront in later sections. In US, we have 4 regions. US East, which is located in Northern Virginia, it has 5 availability zones. US West, located in Northern California with 3 availability zones. And also in US West, we have Oregon region, which has 3 availability zones. Besides that, we also have a region for the government called GovCloud. It has 2 availability zones. GovCloud is not available for public use, and AWS edge locations are spread all over US. In South America, we have Sao Paulo region, that is in Brazil. It has 3 availability zones. For Europe, Middle East, and Africa, we have 2 regions, and they are both located in EU. So we have EU Ireland region with 3 availability zones, and EU Frankfurt region with 2 availability zones. And as you can see, edge locations are spread all over Europe. For Asia Pacific, we have 4 regions. Asia Pacific Singapore region with 2 availability zones. Asia Pacific Tokyo region with 3 availability zones. Then we have Sydney region with 2 availability zones. And in China, we have Beijing region with 1 availability zone. And as you can see, the edge locations are spread all over Asia Pacific, from India to Australia to Japan. They are all over the place. Alright, now let's take a look at AWS networking components. Networking consists of three different components. We have Amazon Route 53, Direct Connect, and Amazon VPC. Route 53 is Amazon's domain name service or DNS service, and it allows you to host your domain with AWS. Route 53 effectively connects user requests to infrastructure running in AWS, such as Amazon EC2 instances, Elastic load balancers, or Amazon S3 buckets. Direct Connect is a network service that allows a customer to establish a dedicated connection between one of Amazon's Direct Connect locations and the customer's data center. Direct Connect provides AWS customers with a way to transfer data that does not involve using the public internet. The third networking component is Amazon VPC, is basically a virtual data center, which is a collection of resources like EC2 instances, load balancers, firewalls, etc. Using VPC, you can create a separate set of resources that carry private IP addresses within a range that you select. You set the rules of how traffic enters and leaves the instances within the VPC. We will explore VPC in much more detail in later sections in this course.